guys, and welcome back. This is ChosenArchitect, and today we're jumping back into some more mechanical mastery. And today, oh boy, are we starting up this bad boy fission reactor. And that means waste management. Yeah. So today is the day that we get the antimatter hopefully set up, or at least start producing and getting our fission reactor up and running, so that way we can get an SPS built here soon. Because the SPS is going to cost a little bit, and we have to run this first and produce some byproducts in order to get this done. So let's first jump right in, because I have done a little bit of work here in trying to prep this up. So something that is going to be dramatic in your fission reactor setup and is going to be super helpful is making sure that you have things in place that prevent your reactor from blowing up, because this can go boom, right? This can definitely go boom. So right here, I have some redstone links, and this is pretty simple to set up. It's from Create. Basically, they're wireless redstone. So all of these are linked to the same channel. You just click the item in here, and that's linking down here. And then this is a NOT gate, a simple redstone inverter. And the goal is to, whenever this receives, for example, this one's running on insufficient fuel. When it doesn't have enough fuel, it's going to emit a redstone signal. This right here is if it is in critical damage, it's going to start sending a signal. This one has if it's excess waste, it's going to send a signal. And then over here, we have one that if it's up to high temperature, it's going to send a signal. Now down here, I have this one set to activation. So what's going to happen here is when it receives a redstone signal, it will then be powered. So the way we have to have this work is by default, these are going to send redstone signals when there's something wrong. Really, we need to invert that. So we want this to activate and have a constant redstone signal, and we want to deactivate that redstone signal when something goes wrong. So to do that, we can simply put this here. Now, I don't want to do that just yet, because I want to talk about this right up here. So up here, I have the waste set up inside of this reactor port. Now, last episode, we set this reactor up, but I didn't set all of the side product stuff set up. So right down here, I have the output leading into a solar neutron activator and an isotropic centrifuge. These are the two things that produce polonium pellets and plutonium pellets. Both of these things produce spent nuclear waste, but also produce their pellet counterparts. However, you do have to produce this material. So the polonium needs a solar neutron activator, and it needs this nuclear waste in order to produce this. The plutonium pellets need plutonium, which comes from an isotropic centrifuge, and all of that is set up right here. So both of these are going to receive waste, and then that waste is going to get processed. This needs access to the sky. Thankfully, it's always day, so that's going to only work during the day. That is going to send that to a pressurized reaction chamber, and I have water set up inside of an ender tank, and I have this clicked so that way it automatically outputs the water into here. In the middle, I have the fluorite that both of them are going to need. So I have fluorite being put into the crusher. The crusher is then sending the crushed fluorite over to this PRC and also over to this PRC. So we should be good to go to turn this on. Now let's talk about this, because this is actually kind of neat. So normally you'd get that waste that I was talking about, right? That spent nuclear waste. Well, in this pack, we can take that spent nuclear waste and make this stable spent nuclear waste inside of a purification chamber, which we've dealt with. Now, I don't want any crazy upgrades on this. I want to use as much of this waste as possible in the process. So in this case, no gas burning upgrades. We literally want this to produce the product and then send it to the nullifier. This is going to just void off all nuclear waste, which is pretty nice. And then, of course, I have my importers here to pull in the two items that we're going to need, the plutonium and the plutonium and the polonium. So now I'm at the point now where I'm not exactly ready to turn this on. So as you can see here, I'm having problems filling this up with water, believe it or not. These are maxed out electric pumps, and for some reason they are not pumping for whatever reason. Like you can see right here, it says no fluid, which makes no sense to me. But they are here. I don't know if, I don't think these have to go into the water to work. I think they just go above. But I'm noticing this is going up, but they still say like they're not actually pumping. I don't know. We might have to figure out another solution for water. Once we get this running, I'm hoping that the water recirculates itself, and that's not our problem is water. So I think at this point, we can kind of give it a little tap to turn it on. It's really loud. So it doesn't seem like at this low rate, it's using any of the power. Let's go Fission Reactor, and I'm just turning this off. I don't like hearing the sound. I don't want it on. So it does seem like we're producing a bit here, and the water is kind of keeping up. It's not ready yet, but we're only burning at 0.1 millibuckets, right? Really, really low. So let's go ahead and disable this. So inside here, we should have some plutonium. As you can see, we do have our nuclear stuff going through here. And the way to sort of go back and forth, I like to kind of just, if I want one over the other, I will just disable this one. Or, you know, or I'll disable the other one and go back and forth depending on which one I want. And then eventually we can just disable both of them and make sure the reactor is shut off. Now, right here is where steam is going to be output. And let's go ahead and hook this in. So we notice there's steam in this pressurized tube. So what I need to do is I need to have some steam, and I need some other pipes as well. I'm going to need a bunch of ultimate mechanical pipes, and I'm going to need those to reach. So what I want to do is I want to drag all of this up and onto the roof, and I'm going to be taking this along the roof line. You got to love this. And hopefully taking it all the way down into this turbine valve. That's going to hopefully get the turbine spinning. But then we're going to have to start managing our power. And that's where we built this induction casing last episode. And yes, I did fix it because it was off-center by one. But now I recentered it and it looks a lot better. By the way, if you didn't know, you can actually change by shift right-clicking this to an output or input. And that's how you change your inputs and outputs. So hopefully this is going to be enough storage. If not, I'm going to have to make even more, which is going to take a long time to craft. So as you can see right here, this is, or did receive a little bit of steam here. Now it should take this steam and produce water. This is the steam input and this is steam over here. I'm pretty sure that this produces water as a byproduct unless something's changed. And I don't quite remember, but here's the power that it's building up. We can dump excess? Is that dump excess water? Dumping. Oh, it's dumping excess power. Oh, I didn't know it could do that. Okay. Oh, well, that's awesome. So we can just expel the power then, instead of having to go through the whole process I just went through. Let's turn this on and let's see exactly what this is doing here. So that steam should build up. It should start producing steam, but I need to turn this steam back into water, I believe. I think. And then I need to feed that back into... I thought this produced water as a byproduct. I could be wrong. Does this not produce power? Wait, this... I thought this produced... I'm so confused right now. Yeah, it does have a water output. You can see right here, max water output. But where's our water? Because I am needing to recirculate the water over here. So that is something that I definitely want to figure out. Okay, while not super clear, apparently the turbine vents seem to be producing water. And so that's what I need to take and send over here. I don't know if I have to connect to every turbine vent or if they all just sort of connect up to one another. That'd be kind of nice to know. But I need to get this water routed back into it, and that's why I have another input. By the way, if you're wondering how I'm going to get fizzle fuel, it's just going through my entangle porter from our fizzle fuel setup over here. But yes, I need to insert this back into this, and I was going to use this port. I might still use this port. I just got to kind of get everything to reach over there. Okay, so let's see. Let's activate this, and let's see if this is going to work. So I definitely want to make sure these are set to pool. I don't think that really matters too much, but there they are. The steam should start generating. And now what I'm looking for is a max burn rate of 19 millibuckets. Now, of course, I don't think my setup at the moment is able to produce that. I'm going to need more chemical oxidizers, and I'm also going to need to be producing more of the yellow cake uranium, I think, for this setup to inevitably work. But let's see what it looks like if we do increase that stat, and let's also hook everything up and make sure this is working. So I should be able to put this on here and activate with redstone signal. So now it is on, and if anything fails, it will automatically shut off. Hopefully that's the goal anyways. So let's increase the burn rate. We go into the stats and we can start playing around with this. We'll do 10 for right now, and we notice immediately that the water was taking a hit, but it now seems to be settling off. And then this right here is now going up, and we have the steam amount in here. So that's what makes this amazing. So we have to maintain the fluid, the water going in, and the steam thankfully helps with that problem and helps maintain that fluid level. Of course, we're going to need more coolant going in. It is increasing, which is good. So let's take this up. Like, I know I don't have enough fizzle fuel for right now, but this is going to be slowly but surely producing the plutonium we need for that, and the polonium and the plutonium needed for both of these things. I might as well get this running, I guess. I don't think we're gonna have enough burn rate. It will shut off if we run out of fizzle fuel, so the whole thing will shut off. 19.2 is the rate that it needs to be at, technically. And this is its max. This is the max that this can handle, according to the wiki. So this should be running good. And the good part is we have dumping excess. So when this exceeds the amount of power, we don't have to worry about hooking into this. I still want to hook into this battery, but we don't have to worry about it just yet. Okay. So yeah, it's maintaining itself, which is perfect. The only thing we're going to notice is we are draining our fizzle fuel quite fast. So let's fix that problem. That's going to take a little bit to do, but with the quantum entangle porters, it should make it nice and simple. Thank goodness for this setup, because while I was working on figuring out the power and stuff over here, I noticed that our damage, like I didn't notice it, but I noticed that everything shut off. And it's because the damage hit to critical levels. Now this will slowly start to decrease in levels. We want to make sure just to keep this off for now. This did happen to shut it off, thankfully, and so the damage level did start to go down, which is good. But yeah, I definitely want to make sure this is filled with water fully. I think that's my issue, is that there's not enough coolant just yet to really keep up with everything going on here. So it is going to be necessary that I keep that up and running, right? So make sure this stays shut off, make sure this fills up with water, and I can start focusing on other things. So for right now, this is working. I just will have to get the fizzle fuel set up and maintain. So I am working on that. I need oxidizers. So I do have 4 oxidizers here that I'm going to be working with. And what I want to do is I want to feed these 4 oxidizers the same stuff that this is being fed. And I think I'm running into some sort of issue here. Is this is supposed to be water? I think. For some reason my fizzle fuel has just completely stopped working, and I don't know why it stopped working. Oh, this is supposed to be oxygen, but this is supposed to be receiving this. For some reason it's not receiving it. Uh-oh. Gases, output, auto eject. It should be receiving input. Weird. Okay, there it goes. Either way, we don't produce enough of the sulfur to be able to really get this up and running. So that's what I'm working on. I did fix it. I think it's because there is that that pickup mod that's in here, and I had accidentally picked up it. Oh, I don't even know why that mod's in here, but it is in here. And so yes, let's go ahead and max oh, wow, if I can talk today. I'm all flustered, all kinds of flustered. We should be able to maximize our output here by using exporters and just simply exporting all of this and then piping it into here with some pressurized cables. Hopefully that will get the job done. And we should be able to upgrade. I'm even going to remove this machine for right now and make sure to remove this. And I just want to make sure that this gets piped in. And so there we go. So what I'll do is I'll input from the side and over here. we'll make sure to set this to output. Oh, actually, you know what? Might as well just make it cleaner. Make this work. So we don't have to manage anything. We can simply just hook this in and run it up the wall here. Once we have this done, then I can start focusing on how I'm going to get more water into this thing. So now that this is producing, our problem is water. And there's nothing in this pack. Yeah, there's nothing in this pack that's incredibly fast at producing water. The mechanical pumps are pretty quick. Like, they do pump a pretty decent amount of water. But I tried the water condenser, which is another thing that can pump water. And then a max upgraded aqueous accumulator. And none of them are really that fast. Not fast enough to keep up with this on its own. Now, our damage has definitely completely decreased. I'm still waiting for this to hit maximum. I removed the power node off of here. I think I'm just going to let this run without power just to produce the main stuff. We don't really need to be receiving power from this. And I wonder if that may have been causing the water output issue. I don't know. It's all up in air. I'm just still trying to figure it all out. But we shouldn't see a decrease in our fizzle fuel, I don't think, anymore. I think we might be producing enough now. If not, I'm going to have to increase these and just make more of them. Because this is our main bottleneck. Everything else can be kind of handled here. I think just the main bottleneck is the sulfur. So there's something weird going on. I think it's the power here that is ultimately the problem, right? That's what we should be able to handle the output, but we're not getting the water, and so it isn't dumping the power. Remember how I said the power was going to be my issue here? Yeah, it actually is now going to be our problem. So I need to create a new channel, I think, and this is going to be just called Steam, and I'll set that to a public channel. We can make it blue, and we'll create this. This is going to be on the Steam. We'll make sure to bypass the limit. And we need to send that over here to our input. This right here. And then we'll set that to Steam. And make sure to bypass the limit. So now what we should have is that flow rate should be acceptable. And we should not run into an issue now. So let's go ahead and turn this reactor back on. It's going to drain for a moment, but it should increase. And I did change the flow rate, but we should now see our power leaving and going into this. And this is the thing. I hope this can store enough power because, yeah, this can store 1 trillion RF. So in just this small size. So if need be, we can always make more. But we need to get this and keep this maintained and running as long as possible. Now, eventually this won't be a problem because I think all the power that we're producing from this, we're just going to pump into the SPS. And that SPS is going to utilize all of the power that we are producing here. So then it won't become a problem, but we have to get to that point. So that's where the induction casing, I guess, really is showing out right now, I have to say. That is quite the power storage it has in here. We won't even really see a bar show up for a while because just 1 billion RF is nothing compared to that 1 trillion. So I started noticing a problem when I was checking these and I seen these were filling up with spent nuclear waste. I guess I was a little bit mistaken with the purification chamber. I don't think this is going to work. The purification will not function with this. So it did say it was disabled. So waste, if we take a look at this, I thought we were able to make this, but as you can see, it does say disabled here, safe for storage. I just didn't know why it said disabled. And I think it's because spent nuclear waste, regardless of this recipe that's been put here, I don't think it can go into this machine. It's not allowing. It is piping in. It is set up to insert into here, and through the gases is set to insert, but it is not accepting it. And in the recipe, we will notice here that it's showing a chemical tank. You can't actually put spent nuclear waste in a chemical tank either. So don't think you can do that because I definitely know that's not the case. So what I'm going to have to do is I have everything shut off right now just in case. What I'm going to do is we're going to have to just make a bunch of barrels. We're going to have to make a lot of these radioactive barrels. I'm going to make I think I'm going to make close to 64 of them. I think that might be overkill, but we are going to need a bunch of them. So I think 64 is a good start. And what we can do is we can use ultimate pressurized cables to get that there. And then the way to upgrade the cables, I'm just going to right click to upgrade them with their current ability to get these up to ultimate here. And then I'm going to use ultimate pipes to send this around because we want it transferring as fast as possible. And I think what I'm going to do is just transfer it to the ceiling. I might just pipe it right up. Well, I don't want it to touch this cable. So that's kind of I gotta kind of get in here. Maybe right here. Nope, that won't work. Oh, I'm kind of put myself in a tight spot, didn't I? So the goal is to spread out as much nuclear waste as possible for this particular setup. We want to spread it out because these will slowly start to degrade the waste and start to expel it and make it just sort of disappear, which will be kind of nice. Now, while all of that is producing, as I'm going to need a lot of the polonium pellets and plutonium pellets, I went ahead and actually shut this down, kind of. I have a detector here that is on this exporter. It's going to shut off the exporter here when we have too many of these inerts in our system. Because, yeah, we definitely have too many inerts that have built up over time. And so I have this set up, if there's more than 256, to shut this off. That's, for one, going to increase our overall EMC gains because we're not spending all the diamonds to actually produce these. So, yeah, this is really nice. Now, as far as this goes, it seems like now, with all of this stuff up and running, we're able to sit comfortably. The only thing I'm worried about is this fizzle fuel, right? We are producing more than this is using. But we are using a lot of sulfur now. And my sulfur is slowly dwindling. And I think if I set up another PRC for the sulfur, we would probably be fine. So let's get a tank, and we should be able to take a regular tank and a pressurized reaction chamber. Gonna have to get one of these up and running. And I'm just gonna, I think, set this up on the wall over here. Everything, we should be able to just send this everything it needs. So right here, we have the pressurized reaction chamber, which should be processing. There it goes. And then, of course, this with max upgrades. And then we're going to be using the quantum entangled porter on our oxygen channel that I spelt wrong. I know you guys will not forgive me for that ever. I think it also needs water. So you know what? Let's do this on the side, and we'll do an ender tank. Now that I'm using ender tanks for water, it's pretty straightforward with the water. I just literally place it on top of something like this and flip it. And we should get water in there, I think. Weird that this ender tank is not filled with water. It's the same. Oh, did this make a gray one? Did I? It depends on the wool color that it crafts with. Oh my gosh. It didn't use a white wool. That's super goofy. Okay, let's do this. For some reason it defaulted to gray. There we go. Now we're sending it water. From the right, I'm just going to go ahead and send it the oxygen. Let's see. Let's make sure to select the channel. Oxygen set. And we will send gases output to the right and auto eject. So there we go. Now we have oxygen. Now we just need to send it a couple of things. We need an importer and an exporter to send the charcoal. I think we also need a crafting upgrade to send, or not charcoal, to send it the coal. So exporter, not where I wanted it to go. Exporter, we'll send you right here. Importer, you can go in the front. Some good old-fashioned cables on this bad boy to get everything hooked in. And then the configuration for this, I think one is going to do it. We might have to set up more than one of these, but this should hopefully get the job done. The back here, I'm going to have to provide with some power. I need this to be dumping excess. It doesn't have power just yet, but basically everything should be fine. We just need to output the items to the face, and you need to input items from the side. Auto ejects fine. The byproduct here, which is a gas, needs to go to the bottom. And I think that's it. Make sure that's dumping. That's going to be sending out the hydrogen. And then I just need to break the walls and put an ender cell in here, because we got to use every little side of this machine. I mean, we probably could use the quantum entangle porter to send power as well, but I'm not doing that right now. Okay. So it has power. It has everything it needs. Now we need a crafter and charcoal or coal. And you know, early on, if I was playing this again, I would definitely have compact machines, and I would be using compact machines for a lot of these things, or compacting drawers, to make this a lot easier. So, oh, it's charcoal, not coal, charcoal. Charcoal blocks. I'm assuming the ones for mechanism. There we go. So get some speed upgrades and some energy upgrades, and we are golden. Goodness. Lots and lots of work, but right here, we're ready to go. Speed upgrades. Make sure to get all those. And this is where I'm like at the point where I'm like, you know what? This is where a lot of things sort of have led to making the Watch of Flowing Time. But I don't really feel like there's a huge need for the Watch of Flowing Time, even with this setup. It doesn't work with this. It doesn't work with this. It could work with this, but would be very unnecessary, would cost a lot more power, potentially breaking our whole power network, which is not really designed for that. The only thing I can see it benefiting is speeding up the few blocks that need it, which are just these. These 3 blocks are the only ones that need these upgrades. So kind of weird. A lot of mod packs really don't want you to use the Watch of Flowing Time, right? To be server friendly. But this one, it's like just go hog wild with it and try to produce this as fast as possible. All right, let's take a look at the sulfur. Are we now keeping up with the demand? It is a lot better. We're still losing overall on the amount, but it looks like a bit slower. That is one of the things that I knew was going to be sort of a challenge, was keeping up with sulfur dust. It's just one of those things that we have to produce, and we have to produce a lot of it. Well, guys, I think that's all I can really get done today, as the rest of the time I'm going to be sort of waiting for the rest of this to fill up. And then I'm going to start working on the other stuff, but I would really like to get antimatter with the SPS up and running before I start working on all the other projects. That way, when I'm working on those projects, this can be, you know, finishing and can be producing antimatter over time. Because we are going to have to automate a lot of things. We're going to be upgrading all of these machines. I probably want to get power started and then actually get into the 25 million RF per tick. That's going to be happening with the Industrial 4 going. All of that stuff is going to lead to ultimate advancement in this pack, and we are going to be an in-game, actual in-game. I think this is in-game, but we are going to truly be getting the in-game and actually making the creative stuff, which will be kind of insane, especially once we get like creative fluid tanks and all that stuff. So my goofy self, just a quick note here, if you want faster water, I totally forgot about this, but I could definitely use the Evertide amulet inside of a basic fluid set to empty, and it is draining infinite water out of this. I totally forgot about this because I just not played around with the Evertide amulets. But this is a good way and could probably eliminate all of our water setup that we have here for this this whole thing. I'm pretty sure I can eliminate all of this, and this one tank can easily keep up with this entire setup. Yeah, pretty crazy. The Evertide amulet is just such a powerful thing. I just didn't even think to use it. But yeah, as you can see, it is keeping up. Even in a basic tank, it's pretty much an infinite water source, an infinite tank right here. So just a nice little tidbit for those of you who stuck around to the end of the video. Guys, there we go. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope you learned a little bit, as I learn every episode I record, and I love sharing that knowledge and things that I learned with you. I feel like the setup here is a lot more simple now that I understand a bit more about the turbine. I learn every time I mess around with Mechanism. So guys, I thank you so much for watching. Of course, click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and give this video a huge thumbs up. And at this point, it is now time to thank the supporter of today's And that huge thanks is going to go out to Dennis the Menace over on the Discord, becoming a Discord premium member and supporting in one of the best ways possible. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Of course, if you did, be sure to click that subscribe button. I'll say that yet again. Join the Discord down below, and also check out my Twitch if you wouldn't mind. Follow me over there, twitch.tv/ChosenArchitect. Everything linked down in the description below. There's even some merch down there if that's something you're interested in. Guys, I'll see you in the next one. And of course, as always, thanks for watching. Bye!